Hey rollers, I have some regular content in the works, but I wanted to share something completely different. My campervan project.
That's completely different.
This spring, I was pretty bummed out about the restrictions in our area because I was unable to train with people. To keep me busy dreaming about traveling, training, and competing, I bought a 2004 Chevy Express and converted it into a campervan.
Ta-da!
In this video, I'll take you through some of the process and give you a tour of the sort of finished product. It wasn't a complete disaster when I got it. It was well maintained and mechanically solid. It had been part of a fleet of work vans for a refrigeration company. It had some sturdy shelves and a plywood floor. The first thing I had to do was pull everything out and clean it up. The next step was to insulate the walls and wheel wells. I realized in doing this just how amazing that red tuck tape really is.
Sticky stuff.
I added some paneling and I worked up the nerve to do the scariest thing of the whole project, which was to cut a hole in the roof for the vent. When that was done, I insulated the ceiling and roughed in wires for my switches. I coated some spruce boards with varathane and began working on the ceiling. This meant I was able to get some lights installed as well. My wife got involved by installing some marine carpet around the metal corners to give it a cozier feel. I was excited to get to the stage where I could build in some furniture, and I started with a frame for a bed and a box for electrical. It felt like things were finally coming together.
I love it when a plan comes together.
I built another cabinet for the sink and shelves, attached them in place, and coated it all with more varathane. After moving a few things in, we were ready to travel, and here is the tour. As you can see, the outside never changed much. I figured it would be fun to try some stealth camping anyways. I decided to install two 100-watt Renogy solar panels, and I did some super neat wire taping to give it that professional appearance. And here's the way I did the bed. I decided to go with a permanent setup with no expanding or folding parts. This way I can leave the bed set up all the time.
Oh, lady.
I was worried that it may be too short for me, but it's been just fine. I use a queen-size gel memory foam mattress. I left it full width and I sliced about 8 inches off the bottom. I use the space under the bed for storage. On the side here, I store golf clubs and camping chairs. On the other side, I have clear buckets for food, kitchen junk, and then we have our closed buckets accessible from the front. My wife sewed some powerful magnets onto some screens so we can get the ultimate airflow. I bought a 12-volt cooler that fits nicely between our seats. We often found it handy to set this up on the mat behind the passenger seat. I wired a few switches in to operate the lights and the fan. The 6 LED lights provide lots of light. I probably didn't need to add a switch for the fan as it has a built-in speed switch, but it doesn't hurt either. We camped in some hot weather and this thing was crucial. I thought it would be fun to wire in some LED strip lights, and I was right. They are sweet. And now we move on to the bathroom. To start with, I was paranoid about the toilet leaking, so I stored it in a bucket. It actually works really slick to have it pull out from under the bed. I drilled a hole in a salad bowl to make a small sink, and I used one of the simplest plumbing systems I could imagine. The water drains from the sink through this hose and down into one of the 2 water containers. Let's call this the gray water tank. In the front, I have a freshwater jug that feeds into a 12-volt pump and then to a tap. I use some of the extra space to store cleaning supplies. Over here I have a few baskets that we use for toiletries and electronics. I built in a lip in the cabinet trim so that they would be secure while we travel, and so far so good. The rest of the shelves are open. These are what us van conversion experts call a work in progress. Right now we use this space for games, snacks, a few dishes, cutlery, and mugs. Below that I have my electrical paraphernalia. Briefly, the power comes from the solar panels into the charge controller. From there, it feeds a 105 amp hour sealed AGM battery. A recent addition to the game was this battery monitor, which I'm nerdy enough to get excited about. I run all the power through a fuse box and then off to the pump and switches. I store a curtain behind the driver's seat, and that attaches to the ceiling with more of those powerful magnets. Before we move the van, I secure everything with a couple of bungees and we're ready to go. We've used this van a lot this summer and it's been a great way to travel. We love the chance to be spontaneous and make travel plans on the fly. If you're considering converting a van, I strongly encourage you to just go for it.
Just do it!
As you already know, there are a million YouTube videos out there to help you along the way. Please consider liking and subscribing to my channel. Thank you for watching.